Let's see if we can break this thing. What's up, guys? I'm Drew, my channel, Gear Inc., where I get to share what I'm passionate about with you. And my channel, that's PC Tech, Games, and Gear. Today, we've got a little bit of a different video. So what I'm doing is I'm not doing necessarily a review of this 5700G, which many have reviewed. What I want to see is how far we can push this thing, because I understand a lot of you, this is your only way to game. I've already made my thoughts on why I think it's a bad value for doing this and then throwing in one of these later on, but I know a lot of you don't have a choice. So the point of this video, as many of you have asked me to do, is just to show what it's capable of. I want to see at 1080p how far we can push this thing, because it's 2021, 1080p, I mean, for me, that's like the minimum resolution that I would play in personally. I know some of you don't have that option. And so I wanted to see how far we can push this by playing games that really it's got no business playing. The rig that I'm playing this in is with 16 gigabytes of RAM, which typically, remember, because it's an APU, it shares that RAM and you want 32 ideally. But I do figure that there are going to be a lot of people who still buy this, throw in a graphics card with 16 gigabytes of RAM for the cheapest possible gaming solution. So let's see how far this thing can go on as many AAA titles and things that it has no business playing as possible. All right, guys, so first game that we're testing out here is Chivalry. Now, this obviously isn't like a cutting edge game. It's not terribly well optimized, and everything I'm going to play, by the way, just know I like lowest settings on all of these games. Like, that's all you need to know. Like, however low everything can go, that's what I'm doing. But we are going to stay at 1080p. In the menu, I'm getting what, about 50 frames a second, 60 frames a second. So we're going to see if this is actually playable. Well, it looks like we're at the end of this match, so let's see if we can kill the air. Okay, we're getting 56 frames a second. That's super respectable. I mean, it's low frames, but you know, this game doesn't need to look nice. We're just need to be able to see their swings. Oh, and apparently I can't. Oh, what you got, buddy? All right, had a little bit of a dip there. All right, so I got killed. It looks like we're about to win anyway, though. One thing I will say, because I have played this game quite a bit, is it's definitely a little bit more difficult to make out their swings. It's a little choppy, but you know, like I said, if I was going to be playing this game versus not being able to play this game, I would take, you know, 60, 50 frames a second. That's no big deal to me. So this is absolutely a game that we have no business playing. Crysis Remastered, yeah, 1080p, everything low. We're gonna see, ooh, 15 frames. This is promising, guys. Recognize, if it didn't actually recognize like what was in here. Okay, yeah, anti-aliasing. Okay, hang on. We're gonna make sure that everything, oh, medium, what? Come on now. I thought it was just gonna recognize it right off the bat. No, we are turning everything we can possibly turn down. You know, it says off, yeah, apply. Wow, look, guys, look at the difference that made. Listen, I know it's stupid to be excited about 30 to 40 frames a second, but this is playable, man. Once again, I understand that you could go down in resolution, which I'm not going to do. But look at the difference, guys. Low, I mean, do you really care? Like, if you're playing this on an APU, like this game, oh, when did Crysis originally come out? Like 2005 or 6 or something like that? I mean, we're just gonna shoot this crab really quickly. I want there to be some ballistics and things going on. Okay, so a little bit of dip close to 30 there. Let's see if we can get to the point where I can actually see some enemies so we can get some objective metrics here on. All right, yeah, look, okay, we're still maintaining above 30 frames a second. That's great. All right, come on, start shooting at me. There we go. I want to see some explosions and things happen on the screen. All right, my guess is that if obviously we were in a more severe situation where, you know, there's ballistics and stuff going on, you may dip into the 20s. But guys, I can't express how happy I am that this is playing the way it is. Like look, I know it's not 60 frames, it's 30, but if this is your only way to play the game at 1080p, man, this is better than nothing, and honestly, completely playable. Like, shockingly playable. That's fine. All right, so we're getting 66 frames here in the menu. It's promising. Metro Exodus, again, not a brand new title, but certainly one that can still be fairly demanding graphically. So we're gonna see how she does. All right. Like, seriously, if we can hit 30 frames or more on all these games, that doesn't mean it's gonna be an amazing experience, but it's playable. Like, it's playable to the point where at least you can enjoy the game and play it, you know, at least a little bit. Whoever the team was who actually did the actual like 3D modeling for this game and just textures and everything, they did a fantastic job, because this is at low everything at literally 1080p. And I mean, the game still looks really, really good. And it seems like we're able to maintain 30 frames a second. So, all right, we down. Okay, now that we're 40 frames. Okay, 40 frames. That is dang respectable, everybody. I want to get to the point where we got to shoot at the, I don't know what they're called. Those things, whatever. The rat things? What are they called? Are they rats? They're not monsters. If it's radiation, then they're just mutated. So I'm just sprinting. Again, it's not ideal, but, oh, okay. Yeah, here we go. Ooh, 20 frames. All right. This is just in a cutscene. It doesn't mean, oh. All right. I didn't hit E. So we died right there. Hang on. Oh, are you really gonna make me go all the way again? Let me get back. Can I just run through it? Yeah, okay, I don't even have to use the ladder for it, great. Oh, because I died, it doesn't do the cutscene again? Okay, here we go. Let's see when the action's actually happening. Let's see if it can keep 30 frames a second or more, because that cutscene was rough. That was really, really rough. All right, we're maintaining 30. I mean, maybe it was just the cutscene. Oh, yeah, 30 frames. All right, so hey, maybe it was just that cutscene, that initial one, but we're maintaining respectable FPS now, guys. This is great. So, is it playable? Probably for the most part. You may have the odd, you know, dip below 30, but listen, again, 30 to 50 frames a second. You could play it. You could get through the game if you were wanting to. So I'm gonna call this one a win. Yep. Let's do continue game. Because apparently it was remembering when I was running some benchmarks on this the other day. So let's actually see if it's going to be terrible or not. All right. Ooh, yeah, 27 frames a second. So, I mean, now, whilst other games we were able to get higher, obviously, this might be our first L. Let's see if I actually have all the options as low as they can possibly go for this. Yeah, quality. I mean, yeah, everything. I think it's all about as low as you can go. So, I mean, that's why it dropped us down to 720p. But we're not going to do it. We're going to maintain 1080p because that's the point of this test. So, it looks like Far Cry 6 is the first game we've encountered where we, even over Crysis Remastered, where we are not able to maintain 30 frames a second at 1080p, even at low settings, unfortunately. I didn't mean it. Yeah, 25 frames, 24 frames. Okay, guys, so yeah. So this is going to definitely be the first L. So Far Cry 6, can you run it with an APU? Not even at low settings at 1080p. Nah, you're not gonna be able to get your desired at least 30 frames a second. So this is our first L. Of course, we have to test Call of Duty. So here's the thing. This is a game that realistically you want 60 frames at least to have a good enough, to be able to track people good enough to make your shots. I'm hoping this isn't obviously, it's not looking good. We're at 38 frames a second in the menu. What I'm hoping is that once we get into the game, because the menu is a little bit weird. It can be more taxing weirdly than some parts of the game. So I'm hoping that once we drop in, I get between 50 and 60 frames a second. Because if I can get somewhere in there, then I think it'll be good enough to, make the majority of my shots. But we're gonna see here. And I'm sorry, my teammates, if you watch this at some point, you played with me while I was doing this test, just know I did it for the viewers. I did it so that people would know whether or not they could do it. So I apologize in advance for my terrible gameplay. All right, let's see here. Okay, 30 frames still, not great, but let's see what happens when I get on the ground. There we go, look, 50 frames. Okay, so if we can maintain at least 50 frames a second, it's not ideal, but it is definitely playable. All right, let's see here. Oh my God, is that breakable window? Oh, I thought for a second. Okay, so we're dropping down in the 30s. That was bad. So, okay. High 30s, low 40s. Not ideal. The question is it playable? The real question is, should you do this to your poor teammates? But the question is it playable? Let's see if I can actually, in the warm-up here. Oh my god. All right, all right. Oh, he's on me. He's on me. Okay, listen, we're getting 40 to 50 frames a second. Now, again, is this ideal? Absolutely not. Could you technically play this way? Yes, I'm gonna say this is a W, this is a win. I guess be very clear to your teammates when you get in that your playing conditions, because I mean this isn't gonna be ideal. And I just did a review video on this, so this is Back for Blood, but let's see what kind of graphics we're running. Okay, look, so we're gonna turn off all this stuff. You know, actually Adaptive FX is gonna help us a little bit because it's gonna render at different, you know, basically different distances and things like that. So limit FPS, we're not gonna limit it. We are gonna go all the way low with our quality though. And then from my testing, what I found was that AMD FSR actually gives us better performance. So because obviously we're using an APU, we're gonna hit apply. All right, look, 72 FPS. So this is a brand new game. Oh man, but look at that. Wow, look at the distance render on that. It's pretty bad. You know what? As long as you can see the enemy. All right, let's see. 80 frames. Hey, it's respectable. It's respectable here. I mean, rendering again, it's not great, but it doesn't really need to be, you know what I mean? Oh man, I mean, maybe that just adds to the horror element of it. But we're getting a rock solid 60 frames a second. I mean, I want to really see how far we can push this. I mean, look, and yeah, we're getting rock solid 60 frames a second on this right now. Pretty freaking great. All right, a little dip, but that's okay. Okay, all right, we're in the tunnel now. I mean, really the most difficult thing about this is just seeing enemies like, you know, like if you're sniping or stuff, but I mean, realistically, it's okay enough. You can make them out, I guess. I mean, yeah, this is absolutely a win. I mean, the fact, again, this game's really well optimized, and so the fact that we're playing on these settings right now, yeah, I'm definitely gonna say absolutely a win. You can play this with an APU. I mean, heck, if you wanted to go up slightly more in frames per second, do like 30, or slightly more, I mean, in quality, and do like, you know, 30 to 40 frames a second, still a very playable experience. So this is absolutely a W if you want to use this APU to play, you know, Back for Blood. All right, and to round things out, I'm actually going to do The Witcher 3. This is at low settings at 1080p. Yeah, I mean, look, the game, obviously this game has been around for a while, man, but that is, see how, okay, watch what I'm running. Let's see if it does it again. Yeah, look how rough the textures are on Geralt and his swords and just everything around. I mean, again, 1080p could technically drop to 720p, but, and I know the game isn't new, but obviously this is a perfect example because it still is a fairly graphically intensive game, or at least it can be, but this is with everything turned down low, and I mean, we're dipping into the 20s here. So I mean, unfortunately, it looks like with games like this, you know, higher graphically intensive games, it's gonna be a wash. I mean, I wouldn't play it, you know, obviously with these settings, but I mean, like, hey, I guess if you're willing to put up with it or drop to 720p, maybe you could. So unfortunately for The Witcher, I think we're gonna have to say that this one is an L. All right, guys, so I was gonna end it with The Witcher, but I think what I wanna do is I wanna end this with New World, because the game obviously has been out for a little while now, and it's infamous for, you know, potentially bricking GPUs and you know, battery backups of your Shroud. So what I want to see is how well it's going to run, because, you know, being an online MMO, now it is a popular game. Despite all the problems, it's a very popular game, and a lot of people, you know, have said that for all its quirks, they really do enjoy it. So I mean, if you need a budget system for this, then, you know, this might be the way to go. But we're going to see if it can run 1080p, at least low settings, at some decent, you know, frames per second. So I'm going to get into it and we're going to test it out. Bum ba bum bum. Bum ba bum bum. All right, yeah, we're loading right now. So we're gonna see, I don't know what the preset setting on this is, so I need to make sure we're in low because we're getting like 7 frames here. Resolution, wow, we were at 720p. Okay, we're gonna go to 1080p. Yes, we're gonna keep the resolution. Does it have dynamic resolution scaling? I think dynamic resolution scaling will actually help us with our frames per second. So let's see here. Not ideal, guys. So we're getting 20 frames. You know what's weird? Okay, so we're only getting, I mean, you guys can see, we're getting 20-ish, 25 frames a second. It's weird though, because like, it's strangely playable. Like, I wouldn't play this, like, PvP, forget about it, right? But, I mean, if you're just gonna be killing monsters or doing, you know, raids or dungeons or something like that, you might be able to scrape by with this. All right, I'm gonna pull an audible. I'm gonna say New World, 1080p, low settings, with this Ryzen APU. It's a win. Like, okay, I know, I understand, like, I'm gonna be completely honest, even at the atrociously low 25 frames a second, this feels completely playable to me. Like, if I had no choice, if I just wanted to play with my friends and this was my only option, it's an option. So we're gonna actually go back. This is the only thing I'm gonna do. I know I said I was gonna keep it at 1080p, but I'm gonna go down to 720p real quick. Man, it gets so blurry as a thing. Yeah, okay, and see, and then we're hitting 30. So technically, you could do this, but I mean, being able to see what you're hitting, like the graininess of everything, like I don't think, I wouldn't play it this way. I would rather actually do 25 frames a second at 1080p and just kind of rock with that. But anyway, guys, there you have it. So I guess if you wanted to do this, technically you could. All right, guys, so there you have it. We kind of tested the limitations of the 5700G today. Way more wins than losses. I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised and pleased that this APU was able to give me at least 30 frames a second in most of the titles I was playing with. Now, obviously, shooters, Call of Duty, things like that, it's debatable whether you would want that type of experience or want to put that experience on your teammates. But the fact of the matter is that if you can't get a graphics card, and this is what you're planning on doing for now and then throwing in a GPU later, even though, yes, technically you will be losing performance versus other Ryzen 5000 CPUs, is not as crazy as I thought it once was. So if you like this video, leave me a big thumbs up. If it was terrible, leave me a thumbs down. Remember to get subscribed and hit that bell icon so you know when these videos drop next. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time here on Garrett Inc.